Coco, SkyMa, all that stuff. We'll just let Brett cut this out. Oh yeah, so my name is Sam. I'm a sophomore here at the U, and I hail from Madison, Wisconsin. I just wanted to share a quick testimony with you guys about my experience with Catholic Students United and CSU, and to kind of hopefully tell you guys a little bit more about who we are here at CSU through my own experience. So a little backstory on me: I took a gap year after high school. And to make a very long story short, in that year I really committed to my faith. I grew up Catholic, great Catholic family, but like many other Catholic teenagers, I wanted nothing to do with it, wanted to get away from my parents and wanted to be free. Like I said, long story short, came back to my faith and really committed to it during that year. Coming to Minnesota, I was both very excited but also rather nervous, because I wanted to make sure I had a community that supported me and lifted me up in my faith. And I had that in Madison in various different places, but I really had that support system, so I wanted to find that here. So coming onto campus, I immediately started coming to St. Lawrence, going to Mass there, and going to any Catholic event that they had, basically. I missed a couple, but I went to a lot. Just trying to meet people and find the community. And it was great. It was great to get to know the community, but I would say that I didn't feel a true sense of belonging in that community until someone else reached out to me. And that person is Evan, and he's actually hosting Gopher Night tonight, which is awesome. The main way he did it was through driving me home frequently, because I lived in Middlebrook last year, which is kind of far away from St. Lawrence and from the rest of East Campus. So anytime after Mass, Evan would be like, "Hey man, you want to get a ride home?" I'd be like, "Of course." And so it was great because it was a time for us to get to know each other better and have conversation. But it also just helped deepen that sense of belonging, that I was someone who was actually part of this community and desired and wanted to be in this community. And so through that connection, I was able to dive deeper into the community, to meet even more people, and to really understand how these people acted and lived out their faith on campus. I kind of felt a deeper sense of brotherhood because the men around me, they started feeling like brothers to me. And just getting to meet people, talk to them about their faith, about why they believe what they believe, their struggles, their ups and downs, all those things. And it just gave me a sense of security in my faith of this is something that I can truly live out while in college, which is a hard thing to do. I just have one encouragement for you, especially if you're a freshman or if you're just new to the community, even if you're a sophomore, junior, even senior, who it's your first time coming here to CSU. I just encourage you to continue to show up as much as possible, to come to these events, even if it's over Zoom.
Stuff was just like in a garbage bag, and like I was looking for it for like ever, and then it turned out that like all of my toiletries were just in this random garbage bag that I didn't know what it was in, so that was a fun discovery. I'm like, hey, I have a toothbrush and towels. Hi, I'm Alex. I'm a junior, and I'm going to be doing a Bachelor of Individualized Studies in Creative Writing, Technical Writing, and Graphic Design. So back in high school, I felt pretty good about my faith, and I had what I considered to be a pretty strong faith life at the time. I prayed. I would say an Our Father and a little prayer that my parents made up to bless our family and friends right before I went to bed. Sometimes I'd add in a little blessing for someone I knew was having a hard time, or a little prayer for my math test for the next day. And that was prayer for me, reciting things I had learned and asking for things when I needed them. For me, college and CSU completely changed the way that I pray. Prayer became not just a bedtime obligation, but a time to spend alone with God, a conversation with a friend. I was shown the power of prayer in many ways, some big and some small. When I first started college, I had a pretty rough first couple of weeks. I was 6 hours away from home for the first time in my life. I was lonely, I was homesick, and I was kind of having a hard time making friends. One night, I was texting my mom about all of this, and unbeknownst to me at the time, she said a small prayer for me to find friends and find a community here at the U. So we finished up our conversation, and then a couple minutes later, I got a text from someone at CSU saying that they were downstairs in the lobby of my dorm handing out care packages. I was feeling kind of down and not really in a good mood, so I figured I would go downstairs and sneak in and out real quick without talking to anyone, hoping to get like candy or something to cheer me up. What happened instead was I met some of the nicest and most caring people and had some amazing conversations. For the first time since coming to college, I found people who genuinely cared about me and what I had to say. When my mom told me she had said a prayer for me that night, I was shown the power of prayer in the big and obvious ways that God can answer our needs. But I've also learned that prayer isn't always big and obvious miracles. CSU was the first place I ever heard anyone talk about adoration. I didn't know it existed before college, but I do know myself well enough to know that my high school self probably would not have wanted to sit in church outside of Sunday Mass. When I heard people talk about adoration, I didn't really understand what could be gained from praying in church rather than praying at home. Like, what's the difference? It's still prayer. But a lot of my friends went to adoration weekly, and they encouraged me to do the same, so I figured there's not any harm in trying it out. The first time I went to adoration was at the end of a really rough day. I entered St. Lawrence and knelt down in the pew, and I was suddenly just hit by the fact that I was in the presence of the Lord. It was like getting a comforting hug from a parent at the end of a long day. There was something so powerful and yet peaceful about being in the presence of the Lord. It suddenly felt like I was going to be okay because I had the Lord with me. How could I not? Adoration became a part of my week that I really truly looked forward to. A time when I could go to church and talk to the Lord in a place when I felt really close and connected with Him. I also started to hold myself to daily prayer. I tried to do this in the past, but I had no one to hold me accountable, so I didn't bother to hold myself accountable. Having a small group of wonderful women was the motivation that pushed me to consistent daily prayer. It was a part of my day where I had no distractions, no homework, no social media, just me and God. I learned to not only ask, but to listen and to read the word of the Lord in the daily readings, and to thank God for the things that He has already granted me.